Listening test instructions. The listening test is about 50 minutes. There are 6 parts in listening test. You will have about 6 minutes to listen to each passage and answer the questions. The passage will be played once.
The doctor's office is just a short bus ride from here, but if you want my opinion, you should just walk.
Question 1. Why the speaker took 2 pauses while speaking?
You will hear a conversation in 3 sections. You will hear each section only once. After each section, you will hear 2 or 3 questions. You will hear the questions only once. Choose the best answer to each question.
Can I help you?
Yes, please. I bought this small TV set here recently, and when I got it home I couldn't get it to work.
Oh dear. Well, I just better take some details for this worksheet and then we'll have a look at it.
Okay.
Here we are. Now, can you give me your name please?
Philippa Hutton.
Could you spell Hutton please?
That's Hutton.
Thank you. And your address?
13 Glen Avenue, Westlake.
Do you know the postcode?
Yes, it's WE58GF.
And what's your phone number?
My home number is 01748 524-965 and my mobile number is 07745-276-145.
Okay, got that. Now, did you still have the receipt for the television?
Yes, it's right here.
Question 1. Why did woman call the shopkeeper for the repair of? Question 2. What is the family name of the woman? Question 3. Where does woman live in Westley?
You will hear the second section of the conversation shortly.
Okay, got that. Now, did you still have the receipt for the television?
Yes, it's right here.
Let's have a look. Right, so you bought it on the 5th of June. That's 2 days ago. So, what exactly is wrong with the TV?
Well, I bought it 2 days ago so I could watch TV while I was cooking for the family. That's why I just bought a nice small one. It could fit on the shelf next to the dining room door. Anyway, when I got it back and plugged it in, there was no response. Nothing at all. No lights, no sound, no buzz.
And there are no electrical problems in that room?
No, nothing. It isn't just me. My husband is very good with these things, and when he came back, he checked the plug, the fuse, the connections, everything. He couldn't work it out either.
Okay.
Question 4. When did women acquire TV set? Question 5. Why have a woman bought the TV? Question 6. At which place in the house was the TV kept?
You will hear the third section of the conversation shortly.
That's very strange. Right then. I'll have a look at it. I'm actually not busy right now. I can finish it in about half an hour. Do you want to wait here or come back later today or tomorrow?
I'll go to the supermarket across the road, and get some shopping done, and I'll come back in about an hour. Is that alright?
I'll be able to tell you what's wrong by then. By the way, your job number is J25, but it doesn't matter as I'll be here when you get back.
See you later then. Hi there. All my shopping's done. Have you finished?
Oh yes. It didn't take me long. It was actually the first thing that I checked out, so I had it all figured out in about 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
What was the problem then?
It was a loose wire.
So what can you do about it?
We can repair it by tomorrow, or we can just give you a new TV. We can send the old one back to our suppliers.
That sounds best to me. I'll take a new one, please.
Question 7. For how long did the man ask the woman to wait? Question 8. Why was the woman happy?
You will hear a conversation followed by 5 questions. Listen to each question. You will hear the question only once. Choose the best answer to each question.
Hi. Elaine. Thanks for meeting with me.
I'm glad to do it.
So we're here for our weekly check-in. How are things going, Elaine?
You know, things are going okay. I've had a little bit of a concern about some of the department meetings that we've had.
Okay.
I've just felt like, since we put our new computer system in a couple of months ago, I've been struggling with it a little bit. And when I go to the department meetings, I feel like I'm just kind of getting some comments from my coworkers about my performance. And sort of getting some negative feedback.
Okay. Yeah. What specifically have they said to you?
Just comments on how long it's taking me to get up to speed again.
Okay.
And maybe I should go to the training again. They're just negative comments. I just don't feel like it's taking into account that I'm working hard, you know.
Yeah, doesn't feel very supportive? So when they say these things, you should be more up to speed or take the class again. What do you think about that? Like what goes through your mind?
Well, in some ways I try to just laugh it off. Like they're kind of joking and chit-chatting. I'm like, but it kind of bothers me.
Yeah. Why? Why does it? I mean, what do you tell yourself when that happens? Why does it bother you?
I start to question myself, like maybe I'm not doing as good of a job as I could be.
Yeah, so you start kind of believing them.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? People say stuff and then we believe it.
Right.
Question 1. What is the purpose of the meeting between the counselor and the woman? Question 2. What kind of issues does the woman facing these days? Question 3. What kind of personality is presented through the woman's conversation? Question 4. What was the suggestion given by the counselor? Question 5. What does the counselor think about the woman?
You will hear a conversation followed by 6 questions. Listen to each question. You will hear the question only once. Choose the best answer to each question.
Right. Are we all here? Okay. As you know, today, Vivian is going to do a presentation on the hat-making project she did with her class during her last teaching practice. So, over to you, Vivian.
Thanks. Mr. Yardley has asked me to describe to you the project I did as a student teacher at a secondary school in London. I was at this school for 6 weeks, and I taught a variety of subjects to a class of 14-year-old pupils. The project I chose to do was a hat-making project, and I think this project could easily be adapted to suit any age. So, to explain the project. After we'd done the research, we went back to the classroom to make 2 basic hat shapes, using rolls of old wallpaper. We each made, first of all, a conical hat. If I show you now, cutting out a circle, and then making one cut up to the center, and then, overlapping the cut like this, conical hat that sits on your head. The other hat we made was a little more complicated. First of all, we cut out a circle again. Like this. Then you need a long piece with flaps on it. I've already made that bit which I have here. You bend the flaps over and stick them, with glue or Pritt stick, to the underside of the circle, like this. Again, I've prepared this so that I don't get glue everywhere. The pupils do, of course, so you need plenty of covers for the table. And there you have a pillbox hat, as in pill and box. Now variations and combinations of these two hat shapes formed the basis of the pupils' final designs. The next stage of the project was the design phase, and this involved, first of all, using their pages of research to draw a design of their hat on paper. That's the easy part. They then had to translate their two-dimensional design into a form to fit their head. I encouraged them to make a small-scale, three-dimensional hat first so that they could experiment with how to achieve the form they required, and I imposed certain constraints on them to keep things simple.
Question 1. What is the topic of today's presentation? Question 2. For how long have the speaker stayed at secondary school? Question 3. What material was used in making hats? Question 4. How many shapes of hats were made in the classroom? Question 5. Which was the easy part of the project? Question 6. Which kind of hats students were advised to make first?
You will hear a news item once. It is about 1.5 minutes long. Then 5 questions will appear. Choose the best way to complete each statement from the drop-down menu.
In the digital era, news has become omnipresent. Americans access it in multiple formats on multiple platforms on myriad devices. The days of loyalty to a particular news organization on a particular piece of technology in a particular form are gone. The overwhelming majority of Americans, 92%, use multiple platforms to get news on a typical day, including national TV, local TV, the internet, local newspapers, radio, and national newspapers. Some 46% of Americans say they get news from 4 to 6 media platforms on a typical day. Just 7% get their news from a single media platform on a typical day. The internet is at the center of the story of how people's relationship to news is changing. 6 in 10 Americans, 59%, get news from a combination of online and offline sources on a typical day, and the internet is now the third most popular news platform, behind local television news and national television news. The process Americans use to get news is based on foraging and opportunism. They seem to access news when the spirit moves them or they have a chance to check up on headlines. At the same time, gathering the news is not entirely an open-ended exploration for consumers.
You will listen to a 2 minutes video. Then 8 questions appear. Choose the best way to answer each question.
Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about insomnia, which means that you can't sleep. Before we start, I want to say that insomnia is important because how we sleep affects our health, studies, and relationships. So let's hear from everyone.
I think stress is one of the major causes of insomnia. Just imagine that you just got out of a fight with your girlfriend or boyfriend. You could be overwhelmed by feelings and emotions, so it can be hard for you to fall asleep, which leads to insomnia. What do you think, Richard?
I think that's a great point. Our relationships with other people and other causes of stress definitely contribute to insomnia. Mintra, what do you think?
I definitely agree with Alan, and I think another major cause of insomnia is drinking a lot of caffeine. Because if you drink a lot of caffeine, it makes your blood go faster in your body and make you feel very energetic. Thus, you cannot fall asleep.
Yeah, I think I experience this problem daily. Okay, so we've talked about stress and caffeine. Alan, what's your opinion?
I agree with Richard and Mintra, that stress is a big factor. Especially, if you're in a relationship and caffeine is another. However, I would like to talk about another major cause, which is your surroundings. I think that outside noises, pets and people can really affect your ability to sleep, so it might be something like traffic, lots of cars and trucks outside your window. Sometimes if you have a pet, and he wants food or wants to go outside, so you always need to get up in the middle of the night, and finally sometimes loud people, like a loud neighbor or a roommate, can really keep you up at night, with all the noise they make. So overall the surroundings are a huge cause of insomnia.
Yeah, so we heard about our surroundings, caffeine, and stress. And I think these are all important causes of insomnia. So thank you very much to my participants today to be here.
You will hear a report once. It is about 3 minutes long. Then 6 questions will appear. Choose the best way to answer each question from the drop-down menu.
Last week I did something that I've never done before. I encouraged one of my students, on her way into the department where I work, to turn back and not attend her class. I found myself doing this because academics and other staff in 64 universities across the country are facing a devastating attack on our livelihood. In the undemocratic world of UK universities today, the only way we can make our voices heard is to swap lecture halls, student support offices and library counters for high-vis jackets, loud hailers and picket lines. We would rather be teaching. But the assault on our pensions means that even staff who have never voted to strike before are set for an unprecedented 14 days of industrial action, sacrificing pay to stop proposals based on untruths and misinformation. We stand to lose the safety net of a guaranteed pension income and instead our retirement security and entirely on the way markets perform. Under the new system, individuals will be left shouldering all the risk and the institutions who pay us will be completely insulated from it. In my own case, if I pay into my pension for the next 30 years, the change will see me move from an annual retirement income of £22,000 to one that might, if I'm lucky, be worth £10,000 a year. By contrast, the University of Bristol's Vice-Chancellor Hugh Brady's pay packet of £333,000 includes, for this year alone, £62,000 towards his pension pot. Brady claims to appreciate the commitment and hard work of his staff. Yet he is happy to break the pensions deal we signed up to when we chose careers that pay less than comparable professions and to leave us facing uncertainty in our old age. The employers say the scheme is no longer affordable. But they employ us precisely to scrutinize dubious claims like theirs. What they are presenting as facts are anything but. Far from being in a dire condition, the pension scheme has performed very well over the last 12 months. Scare stories over the state it's in are based on a ludicrous imagined scenario in which all universities across the country suddenly go bust. So if the scheme is a lot healthier than the vice-chancellors are making out, why are university leaders like Brady so keen to axe it? Could the answer be that they would rather spend the money on swish new gym suites and flash buildings? Are pension liabilities just an inconvenient obstacle to risky borrowing for these pet projects? Is delivering on the promised pensions a barrier to an expansion of real estate whose charms, it is hoped, will attract more and more students and at the same time distract from the fact that their seminar rooms are overcrowded and their lecturers and administrators stressed out about how they will survive in retirement?